Oh, right. I don't know what you're talking about. That was a perfectly well done intro with no lack of... That's the first time I've ever forgot to press record.
No, it's
I
not.
think I was just so excited to... It is the first time. It's the first time. Anyway,
It is
I was
actually.
gonna
It's
tell
been a
you-
blunder. Your first
It's-
blunder.
It's not my first blunder for sure. I've had many a blunder in my. But speaking of blunders,
Yeah.
I was speaking to my wife, Kate, last night,
My wife.
and she
You-
got the name of the podcast wrong, guys.
Ooh.
Oh.
A year and a half we've been doing Push the
Oof.
Point, nearly 18 months, I think it is. She called it Pull the Point.
Pull the point.
Is it Pull the Point? She's just left, so I can't confirm. It's either Pull. Yeah, I think it was Pull the Point.
Has she got something
is
on
that
her
about?
mind? Is that?
No,
Oh,
sorry.
Simon.
That's-
What is this? You've got this thing about bit with the.
People think Simon is really
Yeah,
innocent.
Simon's
He's
been-
not.
Simon's been
Hey.
listening to too much innuendo bingo on Radio 1.
Oh my god, what a fuck. What?
I am not the one
Yeah.
that came up with the biggest innuendo on this podcast. So
Who
What are
did?
these-
that was
Oh.
Trip.
What was
Oh
that?
yeah, Fat Balls.
Oh, Fat
Fat
Balls.
Balls.
Oh, yeah,
Classic.
yeah, yeah.
And Deli
One of
Run,
my
yeah.
friends said that the podcast should really be called "What's the Point?"
Oh, wow.
I love that. That one. That one got me.
Yeah,
If you got any
well, there you
other,
go.
if you got any other like horrible ways to
Just throw insults at us on Twitter.
If you've got
and
any
Discord.
alternate names for the podcast, like Pull the Point or What's the Point, please let us know, because I'm sure there's other great ones.
Push the
I'm-
point.
I quite like Push the Point. I think the name, when we started, it was like just a random card and the Ira
No,
deck.
I thought it was an innuendo.
Very nice.
I
There's
thought-
We always do this when we
I swear,
disagree.
it started as an innuendo because we
There's
were-
some
No.
alliteration in there. I quite like it.
Push
no,
the Point.
yeah, I think that's what stuck with it, because I think we generally were just trying to come up with names, and then we were finding cards that had a bit of an innuendo to it, and then
I just don't remember this at all.
I swear
I
we've
don't
got
remember
just-
this at all.
No,
I'm
No.
we've got to
interested.
crawl back up to the.
Hamish has dreamt
Stop.
about this.
Did you
No,
have a
and then we
weird
said push the
dream?
point. We're like, and then
You
I was
have
like,
like
oh, that should be good.
you said this last time, and again, me and Simon.
Whatever.
just
Oh,
like,
if we,
what
if
you
we
want?
already went over this, I'm not going to go over this again.
That-
Drip and I
no.
can only ever view Push the Point as a decent Ira card that came out of nowhere. Like, oh, that
Yeah.
common that sort of blocks for nothing, and oh, but wait, it works
attacks
really
for
well.
7.
Yeah.
With
We
a
sh-
wasted resource.
It's kind of weird. I always find it weird self-indulging about ourselves.
Yeah, it's great, right? We're in the
He
big
He
leagues
says this on the
now.
podcast, and then when we're finished, he's like, "Oh yeah, I just want to talk about me some more."
I don't want to
Well,
talk
I
about
was gonna
me.
We're in the big leagues now, right? So because big
We are.
news. We are getting a spoiler. So
Hey!
Finally,
about yeah, well, we've been doing this for a long time. I think a lot of it's Hamish and his interviews, going out there, getting lots of people Push
Absolutely,
Point, or
getting-
get people to see Push Point. But
On trend.
I know, Trip, you stepped up a bit, Simon, man.
Hey, I got us a decent gig at the weekend, so
You did.
I guess
actually.
you're true. Yeah, true. Simon managed to secure us the Polish nationals casting that we just did the weekend, which was really, really good. Really good opportunity for us to cast some games, some really, really exciting games as well. But probably talk about that in a bit. We've got straight stuck in to like push to like Flesh and Blood.
Yeah,
chat,
is there
but
any home?
is
Is there
there any home
news?
news? Yeah.
Home news. Well,
Home
Hamish,
news.
you and I have booked our travel and accommodation for Worlds, so
I know you better. you better buckle up, buddy, because you're cuddling up with me in a king size bed. Sorry, Trip. Now you know how I feel.
I'm so sad I'm missing out on that. As much as I would like to menage a trois with
Yeah.
my
Rip.
two co-hosts.
I reckon this annoys me, right? Simon, you look tall.
excuse me.
You look tall. You look like you're a tall man. Right? You can just
Right.
see it. that
Where is
you're
this
a pretty-
going?
Trip does not look like he's a tall man. And then you
He's
see
just
him
so
and
shrinking.
he's like this daddy long leg in the in the event. And you're like,
I'm a little boy.
like, people could look at me and just think I clearly look like a stocky man, but Trip just generally
I'm
just.
tall, mate.
I
I'm
know
like
you are.
6'2",
I know.
yeah.
You're like my
So
brother. It's just so weird.
there's a
And I kept
story
thinking,
behind this bed sharing, though, right?
well,
Because
I kept
I,
thinking I was going to cuddle up to Trip, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's like hugging. I don't know. It's like hugging a corpse. It's a
Oh,
bit
thank
bony.
you. Wow,
But I
that's
will
really nice.
say, if I did, I reckon you'd
Not
have a good
offensive at
night's
all.
sleep. Because I'm a cuddly man.
I don't want. I hate being
Do
cuddled. I
you?
like. Well, like I like
wow.
Kate's all right, but
Yeah,
other than that,
does
I'm not a
Kate
very
cuddle you and you're
cuddly
like that?
person.
Kate, you know I'm not a cuddler, and just push her away.
Well, I like my
So
space.
Personal
when
space.
Hamish and I started looking for
Rule number
accommodation
2.
in San Jose,
Personal
there was
space.
one stipulation, and that was that we
Simon
had our
moving
own
the
separate
conversation on.
beds. And I booked us a hotel, so we couldn't find an Airbnb that was large enough for a group, close enough where we wanted it. So I booked a backup hotel, and then Hamish comes along. He's like, "Oh, been invited to another Airbnb. I've got us beds." I was like, "Okay." And then the next day, oh, actually, we've made a mistake.
There's no mistake.
You need to share a bed.
No, there was no mistake. We got an Airbnb, and then Rob said to me, "Oh, by the way, we've got another one. We've got another lad in. We've only got a 4-bedroom one." I was like, "Ah, it's fine. I'm sure I can get a blow-up bed somewhere." And then I thought, how the hell am I actually going to get a blow-up bed there? And I'm not
So
going to.
he sold me on separate beds, and now he's like, "I want to cuddle up to you,
I
dude."
know. Then Rob said, "Oh, and I was like, oh, this is too complicated. I'm just going to share with Simon. It's fine." And then I said, "Simon, by the way, I'm sharing with you." Didn't think you would actually have a problem with it. You're like, oh, do we have to share? And I'm like,
Can we get some midnight vlogs from
that's
you
not.
two?
I don't think he
under the
realizes that I'm
covers?
gonna. Apparently, Simon doesn't sleep well when he's sleeping with someone. Blessed. I don't know how
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
get
how he goes
drunk
to sleep
and
with
snore.
his wife. Do you have your own Simon bedroom at home?
No, I'm fine. I just get really hot.
I can imagine his
night.
bedroom with his name on it. This is
Dr.
my room.
Dennings. Dr. Dennings' room.
Oh yeah.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde. I
Yeah.
have to be somewhere different. Like
Does the
Bruce
family
Banner.
have to knock before they enter? Like, father. And every time,
Father.
father, what time is dinner?
Father.
Speak to your mother. Speak to your mother. I'm a doctor.
Oh, where was that from, Trip? Was that from
It's from IT Crowd.
IT Crowd? Yeah.
Father.
Matt Berry's such a hero.
So good, yeah.
Well,
We've started watching some of that again recently. It's so good to go back and watch the IT Crowd, although
Apologies
it looks
for
so dated
headphone
now.
listeners, by the way, because that really was quite loud.
no, that's fine.
I'm sure Hamish could sort that out on the post edit. You got to
Yeah.
watch the vampire one as well. With
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows.
We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
He's
I've
so
watched
good
that.
in
That's
dude.
so funny.
So good.
That is so funny.
good.
After your, we were discussing about doing a video, which is a little bit different. And Trip sent me some inspiration with Brass Eye. And the second you sent that
Yeah.
video, I'm just back to every time I just
Yeah.
have a whiff of Brass Eye, I'm back to just going. I'm watching loads of Brass
This is
Eye for the 5th time.
nonsense.
Trip, you've lost the news.
You've lost the news.
You've lost the news.
If you haven't watched Brass Eye,
Some great
the news
90s
today.
comedy.
Is it News Today or so? That
Yeah.
was, I can't remember what the news is.
Turn that piece of paper 180 degrees in my favor.
You got
Such a
just
weird way of
YouTube
saying
it.
it.
YouTube Brass Eye News. You'll love it.
Yeah,
if
you
you're from
would love
America
it.
and you haven't
Chris
seen
Mo-
it, you've
Chris
gotta watch
Morris.
it.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Absolutely good.
Right,
What
Hamish.
would it say on your headstone? News? You've just
Right,
dug yourself
Hamish,
into a numerical
okay.
grave.
You've
Okay.
lost the news.
You've lost the news. Anyway, Simon.
You've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Hamish,
well-
what are you drinking?
Yeah, we got some great
Wow.
ones today.
Well, I
so-
think we need to preface this really because a good friend of the show, Bugger Lugs, Sean McCherry, came and found us all at Nationals
Yes.
and gave us each a beer.
Super kind
yeah,
of him.
it's really good because
Uh,
Sean was co-streaming. So Sean runs Armory Nights and was co-streaming with Tabletop 24. Did a really good job, and it was really good because it felt super official UK Nuts because we had like 2 tables
did.
with streams coming from it. So it was really good, like
Mm.
real variety to watch. So thank you, Sean, for giving us the beers. But yeah,
I'm now thinking, by the way, before we get onto the beers, I've just had a flash of
Just makes this
Armory
up as he
Knights.
goes along.
Yeah, an Armory Knights jingle in the style of Norfolk Knights from I'm Alan Partridge. I feel like we should return the favour of the What's Hot and What's Not jingle and do Armory Knights their own jingle one day.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will. We'll do it.
One day.
Right,
Right, Hamish, what are you drinking?
You need to send me some like what that is because I'm just like, okay.
You never
thanks,
watched
Si-
I'm Alan Partridge? No. Okay.
It's Armory Nights, but to the tune of Boogie Nights.
All right.
Oh, you want to do
Nights.
that?
Oh, okay. I'll try that. Armory Nights.
Armory Nights.
Ah, okay. I like
We
this.
go easy. We got it.
Easy. Okay. All right. Well,
Okay. What are you drinking?
not like I have much else
We're
to
still
do.
off.
Okay, so thank you, Buggerlugs. You have given us 3 beers, and we got to pick what we wanted. He picked 2.
I didn't because I was the last one. So
Well, he let me pick because he knew that he probably gave me one that he said, I think this is probably the only one you will pick because it doesn't have stout written on it.
it's a lager.
Well, it's not an lager. I was like, well, okay, it's a Pilot IPA.
Oh, that's really good actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
IPA
Unfiltered. Unfined, yeah.
It's unfound. Well, I found it. It's right here. So it's I didn't know what unfined meant.
It means that it's cloudy. The sediment hasn't been taken out of it.
I don't know why I'm staring down the camera.
Yeah.
But there you go. I've got a Pilot unfined beer. What about you, Simon?
Well, I was left with the last beer, but actually probably the beer I would have chosen.
I think Trip knew that.
Serendipitous. I have all the way from Brew York.
Ooh.
The floor is guava.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is a Sabro hopped coconut and guava pale ale, 5.5%.
Are you at work
Spicy.
today?
I'm not working tonight, no.
Wow.
Perfect.
Makes a change. What
So
about you,
I'm
Trip?
going to drink this lovely.
No, hang on. Sorry. Almost blew it there.
Yeah, you just messed with the system there.
What? No. What about you, wild card of the
There we go. Thank you
the
very
guy
much.
that I've just found out that reads One Piece and he's really cool.
I
Trip.
love One Piece, man. We need to talk about One Piece sometime.
Straw Hat wild card. What are
Straw
you
Hat
drinking?
Trip.
Yeah.
So I have the third beer. It was the second choice. I didn't choose the one that Simon had because I'm not a huge fan of coconut. So I actually went for Son of a Preacher Man. Very cool looking can. And this is a peach Melba Pale. So it's got peach flavoring. And I think it might also have raspberry in it as well. So it looks pretty decent. Definitely my, I like a stout and a dark beer, but I also really like a nice fruity beer. So this should be pretty sweet. So
Crack
let
it
me get
open,
this
boys.
open.
I thought
Yeah.
Simon,
Cheers.
for a second there, if you're watching
Wait,
us
give
on
me a
YouTube, you'll go back and look what Simon did. It looked like he was pouring it over his desk. But I was like, this is a really, really good beer. I'm just gonna completely let my keyboard have a taster.
How bad would that be? Oh, thanks, Sean, for the beer.
Thank you, Sean.
Great, mate.
Great.
It's so bloody good. I wanted my computer to have some.
Yeah.
Thanks for
cheers,
giving
mate.
me last choice.
Yeah. Well, this is nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying mine.
Oh, that is so good.
Ooh, this is
That's really deadly. I could drink. It's just
Sean,
That's
thank
really
you
good,
so
Sean.
much,
Thank
Buggerlugs.
you.
dude, this is really
Cheers.
This is actually
Oh,
quite
so
mine's
good.
5.2 alcohol as well. Man, maybe that's
got
the trick.
5.5.
I'm gonna drink this in like 2 minutes. This is really, really tasty.
Oh man, yeah, this is going down the storm. Okay.
It's a really nice fruit beer. This
I just unfined beer. Tastes
Son
so
of a
good.
Preacher Man, which is also Brew York. It's
find,
not
though-
too sweet though. Like it's normally a fruit beer can be a bit like sweet, but this is actually quite nice.
I was
going to
say,
taste the beer, which is good.
I usually get off of a fruit beer after one of them. I can't do, especially banana and peach and like soft fruit
It's a bit
flavors.
sickly.
Yeah, I find it a bit sickly sweet. So I can
will
do
say-
one.
Oh,
This is
sorry.
pretty good.
I will say that if I had 4 of these, I reckon I would be. I tell you what, this reminds me of. Brooklyn Lager has that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has that sort of like small and it feels quite strong. You can tell. Yeah, I'm gonna get.
Um,
I could get absolutely twatted on this. Anyway, this is good. So, all
So,
the way. So
wow.
let's move on.
Okay.
Let's go.
So what are we talking about today, Simon?
I
Because
think there are a lot of
we've
people out
there's
there.
quite a lot.
Oh,
I
we're
think there are a lot of
15
people out
minutes
there,
in.
Hamish, who would also get drunk on 4 beers. So count yourself lucky.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
myself included.
I'm
Um,
not usually that lightweight. Anyway, God, we need to move on. I can see this isn't going to be over an hour.
It's going to be a
already.
long one.
Yeah. we're
Okay,
settled
so
in.
we're going to start talking about nationals, which, although it feels maybe a bit longer, it was only a week ago.
No, it wasn't.
Uh,
a week and a day.
week
Is
and a
it
day
not?
ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really soon. You didn't realize how soon it was when we were
Yeah.
talking about it beforehand, and now you can't how soon it was from the past as well.
That's
Because it was
true.
And
only
then we're going to talk about the Polish nationals because
Yeah.
we've casted the whole weekend. I say we. Trip casted the whole weekend,
Yeah.
and we just joined in for little bits and bobs
you
here and there.
technically casted both days, Simon. You
I did
day
I
one,
did
day
it was
cast
me. It was
both
me
days,
that
yeah.
just swooped in and took the spotlight stage of top 8s.
Oh, I was very
Um,
happy. I got I managed to get in on probably the best game, but we'll talk about that
Yeah.
a little bit later.
And then we've already mentioned that we have a spoiler for Dynasty, which is great, and we can just finish off with some self-flagellation for the podcast. So
Oh,
We haven't
we're
seen
not
the
talking about
card yet.
bands.
but-
yeah,
Oh, we might talk about bands.
I would rather
I
talk
think,
about
yeah, we
bands.
can
than
talk
about
about
should
bands.
we talk about it now? There shouldn't be any bands.
but
Okay,
there
we've done that.
definitely
yeah,
shouldn't
go-
be any bands.
Go for
yeah.
it. Let's,
done
let's,
that.
let's kick that off now. I don't think so either.
Good way of agreeing, but sounding
Okay.
like you're giving a new opinion.
No,
So-
I don't know. I mean, you guys, I think you're right. There shouldn't be. I think belittle.
Hamish wants to ban something just for the sake of banning something.
No, I think belittle's good, but then I keep thinking maybe belittle is that card that is probably propping up heroes to deal with like certain heroes like Iyslander and so on, more so than we think. And if that's gone, we're probably opening up another door that we don't want. That makes sense.
I mean, we've had
Yeah.
such a wide array of heroes winning nationals in the last 3 weeks that
mostly older.
Mostly older. It is mostly older, but there's a
Mostly
good
older.
range. There's a good range.
It's a
There's
better
been-
range than last
mean,
year.
there's been Oldham, Iyslander, Fi, Dramai, Briar, quite a lot of Briar,
Has there been quite a lot of Raider?
Lexi.
Rhinar.
Oh, we had the Rhino. Like last year's Nats had a bit of a, it was Briar taking the center stage, and we had a smattering of other heroes. Well, I think we had a.
Yeah.
We didn't have Did we have a Rhino win last year as well? I believe we did.
We had a little bit of Oldham, like people cottoned on to the super
Yeah.
aggressive Briar, and then we saw
had a
Oldham, but
Dory.
then Briar adapted. I think there was a Dory.
Yeah.
There was technically a Dory this year from the Blitz event, but
That's
in the
true.
I think,
Blitz.
yeah.
I-
But
It's
I think
been
with
more
Belittle,
varied.
I think people hate on Belittle, but I think people forget that Belittle, it's below rate in terms of the actual attack, and it does have a deck building restriction, right? Like you can't just throw Belittle into any deck you
Yeah.
like. You've got to reveal
I think
the
you
3
can.
powerless card. it-
I think if you're an
you
aggro
can't.
hero, you do.
There's got to there is something you can't just throw it in if your deck doesn't have the 3
Yeah, you
power
need a
cards to
density
reveal.
of 3 power cards, right?
But you can, and it's just not as consistent. But
I think when Hayden
it-
made
not just as
Viscerai use
simple.
Belittle, I think that just turned around and went, well, if he can use it.
This
It's-
is Swarming's
No, but he
annoying.
also
Like,
built
you could hit
he
off Swarming,
built the
isn't it?
deck around it. He had yellow,
Well, that's what they all
yellow and
are.
blue shrills and
Mm.
swarming and
Yeah.
but you can't put the 4 power attack or as many 4 power
Yeah.
attacks in
I
that
don't
That's
think
what I'm
Belittle
saying,
shows
it's
it
just like
doesn't
it-
matter, like because it comes in for 3, and that is like a lot of people just sort of look at that and go, it's what it's finding. It's really strong, but people forget that they're still coming in for a 1 for 3, and then
Yeah,
that
but
you
1 for
just-
3 go again is below rate, like Trip was saying, right?
But it's the
No, no,
finding
and-
the card. That's
Yeah, no, yeah, we know that. We're not saying it's shit. Like
No,
it's
it's
obviously
really
just saying
good.
We're
I'm
just saying you have
saying
to build the deck
because
around it.
I think because it requires a deck building restriction, and like you said, like people are changing what cards they have in their deck. They're putting in yellows that aren't
Mm.
as powerful as the reds. It's still good, but there's a downside. It's not just a straight up.
Unless you're Fi,
card
in
is
which
broken,
case
like-
all of your cards come in for 3 anyway.
Yeah, but LSS must realize that when they're building Fire, right? Like, surely, like you're like, oh, this is great deck to put bullet in because
Yeah.
you printed a bunch of 3 costs. But,
I don't know,
yeah,
I
I get it.
listen-
I'm not here coming out saying it's like a terrible card.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
saying
not.
it's not like it's just throw it in to any aggro deck. That's just what I'm saying.
It seems to be the card that helps prop these aggro decks up against Icelander, and I think that she's really good, and I think that if Belittle wasn't in, it might be a bit too good. I feel maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like she may be a bit too good because she can deal with Oldhim and Bravo pretty well.
Mm.
She does straight up lose to Dromai. So
Yeah, Dromai's a good counter.
and
But
I
what we're
think she
saying
could
is-
lose to Dash, and I don't think I'm fine with that. Like I think when aggro heroes can go, oh, I can deal with you, it gets a little bit like, should you really be able to deal with her this well if you've got Belittle in the deck? You know what I mean? Maybe these aggro heroes, will they lose a lot if they lose Belittle? I don't know.
The thing is,
what
if-
we're
if
saying
you-
is actually the meta feels really balanced, and there doesn't need to be any bans. That's it.
Yeah.
No bans.
It is fairly balanced. I just feel like that card's just going to rear its head on to everything, and I think maybe that's kind of the boring bit.
Mm.
You always just turn around and go, well, this mechanic is so good. I'm going to build a deck around it. We've got a new hero. Yeah, can you put Belittle in? Yeah. All right, well, let's build the deck around Belittle for X hero.
The thing is, like, if you think of the decks that are using Bulletall the most effectively, it's Fi, right? And Fi runs it for literally one matchup, and that's Icelander.
I don't well, then that doesn't use it the most effectively. I probably would say it's Briar.
Is Briar running that?
Yeah,
I guess
mean,
they're
Bob
fetching the
Mattfolds won a
mana
Pro
trap,
Tour with it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
just seeing if the decks that we're seeing coming out now and topping. I don't know if the Poland nationals
no,
deck
that
runners
was
run
that was a
it,
traditional Briar.
or if the other Briar winners are running it. It doesn't seem to be as prevalent in the sort of European, like continental Europe Briar lists that we've been seeing. They don't seem to be using it. It's obvious, and maybe they're running it in the Icelander matchup. To be honest, like I don't know that. I didn't see the Briar players play against Iceland. There's a really good possibility
do.
that they're just.
I think
But I think that's fine. It's like it's a tech card. It's like I guess, are you banning a tech card because you want Icelander to be better? That doesn't seem to fit in with LSS's philosophy for bans at the moment.
Yeah.
To make a hero better by banning the tech card. They could do it, like if they wanted to boost Icelander, but it's not so far been what they've been doing. They've been targeting bans at problematic cards that are making heroes oppressive.
I feel
Degenerate
like-
plays is the way they've been
They use
phrasing
the
it.
word degenerate all the time.
I
don't
know.
they?
Yeah,
Jeez,
I think LSS, I will say, I think you need to stop using the word degenerate as an official thing. I think degenerate is kind of like a term scrubbling goblin players use while we're in our Discord channel or whatever, just because we're frustrated with a thing. I don't think it should be an official terminology. You could just say, unbalanced. The English
Yeah.
language is fantastic for using a variety
There's
of words.
Lots of different words.
Yeah.
Consider
Anyway.
your wrist slapped.
Anyway, I will
LSS,
just-
by Hamish.
Well, I'm just saying. It's just,
Spoiler rescinded.
No, well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're about to post it. Well, to be fair, that would be kind
Don't
of
like our language, eh?
degenerate. I'll show you true degeneracy. Well, my point about the bans is basically my personal opinion about it. But if you're looking at it statistically, it doesn't make any sense to ban anything. Everything doesn't point towards a particular thing being broken. So I would not be
Yeah.
surprised to see no bans. I would be fine with it.
I think it would also be. We won't talk about this for too much longer, but I think it would also be really weird to hit like Fi when Oldhim is currently, probably the top tier hero at the moment. It's winning the most events. It'd be really odd to.
I don't
hit
even
a
think
hero.
Oldhim doesn't even feel broken. Like he
No,
he
I
wasn't
didn't
even
Well,
think
in
that's
it
the
is
sign of a
either.
healthy meta, right?
Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah.
even in the top 8 in US Nats, and that was huge. But then there's draft, and there's a lot of variables.
There's
there.
still time for the meta. There's still heroes that have not been figured out. Like people saying Icelanders figured out after US Nats. I don't agree with that at all.
No, there's loads of Icelander.
Dromai is
No.
definitely not figured out yet. I think Dromai will continue to be tinkered with. I mean, we've seen Jamie Faulkner's list, and Jamie's had a lot of success with it, but I still think there's a lot of changes to come to Dromai.
Mm.
But I don't want to hit the meta when there's still experimentation going on. I think there's still some excitement going into Worlds with a meta without any new cards.
Well, they
That's the
might.
only thing I can think that they want to spice things up for Worlds, but it doesn't feel like a very good
No,
reason
I
to
don't
do a
think they would
ban,
do
does
that.
it?
No.
No, they don't
Yeah.
need to. You got Christ. You got what? You're going to spice things up for 3 rounds. What's the point?
Yeah.
You know, like you got 3 rounds of doing it, and then you literally just goes, and then the rest of your journey is welcome to random pack town, and I hope you got a good blitz deck. There's no need to change things up for 3 rounds. Just leave it.
So
We're good.
we all agreed at the beginning of this segment that nothing should be banned, and then we've spent 8 minutes talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Love
push
it.
the, welcome to push the point. Right.
Welcome to Push the Point.
Well, what's the next segment?
Right, Nationals, UK Nationals.
Yeah, it was great.
It was
Congratulations,
it.
gents.
Yeah, we all did pretty well.
Top 16 for both of you.
Yeah, Hamish brought it back.
I
Like,
brought it
I-
back.
I genuinely,
Our game was the beginning of the end for me, and the end of the beginning for Hamish. That's
Second I brought Simon down to my level, I was like, oh my god, this is what I needed.
and then you got repaired out of the Icelander mirror on day 2.
I was like,
and I got your opponent instead. Like,
oh.
oh.
I was like, I do not want to face Scott Mines at all. He's going to show me how to play Icelander. I don't want to be shown how to play Icelander. Oh, it's Dyson. Hey, Dyson. Let me just take that money off you. Whoop.
Yeah.
That's
And
twice
instead,
now.
Scott showed me how to play Icelander instead while I was playing Briar. And despite losing the game, it was one of the best games I had all weekend. He's a great player, and he had 4 auras out on the board against me at one point, which was just
She only had 3
soul destroyer.
copies. Did he put
3
a fourth,
copies of what?
Of Frostax? Did he put a 4th copy of Frostax?
No, he had 3 Insidious
Insidious
Chills
Chill.
and
Oh.
a Channel Lake Frigid out at the
Must be
same time.
nice.
Yeah.
All right,
So I drew
Icelander.
my hand. He then for about 4 turns in a row, I drew my hand. He then played something out of Arsenal, fused it, and
Lost your
I had no
hand.
hand left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
That's pretty harsh, man. It's pretty. And Trip, you did well. You did very well. I
I
generally
was
thought
super
you were
happy.
getting top
Yeah,
8.
I was
What
at
happened?
the top tables for most of the tournament. I started off pretty well. I beat I had a Phi mirror against the guy that's friends with Matt Fox. His name I can't remember at the moment. He
Pete
ended up
Ward?
in the top 8. Pete Wards, yeah,
Yeah.
managed to win that,
Very
which was
good
pretty
player.
sweet. I then managed to beat a Viserai. You know, I won't go through all the games. I
Oh,
lost.
please don't.
I lost my
But he
first
will.
game of CC loss was to Dash, which was exactly the same thing that happened in Nationals last year. My first loss in CC was to a Dash then as well. But it was to a guy called Mitch, who I've played a couple of times. He's a really nice guy. But I was just super happy with how I did. Like, I was at the top tables for most of the day. I was playing against the best players at the tournament. Managed to beat Matt Fox in draft in a really silly game with 2 terrible Phi decks. But I needed to win. Like, I think I actually had to win all 3 of my day 2 CC games. I think even if I'd won the first 2 and lost the last, I think I actually still would have bubbled, because I think that's somebody else did, and they also bubbled on 9th or 10th. But I won my first one, lost my second one, and won my third one. But I was super happy because I was playing against these players that we keep talking about, that there's some amazing players in Fab these days that have either come over from Magic or just fantastic players in their own right. And I was able to beat a few of them, played up against a lot of them. And I essentially did as well as I did last year, but in a much tougher field. So
Well
I
done.
think I
Can't
just picked the
complain.
right deck, to be honest with you. I think I've just found the deck that I like to play, which is just balls to the wall aggro. And I'm
Oh,
not
no
ashamed
surprise
to,
there.
to say it. Like, that's just what I like playing.
I'll
And
get-
it's like, you know, playing Ninja is what I enjoy doing. So
Our game was, if you imagine the scene of 300, and you see that guy standing on the edge of that pit, and then you just go, "Is that's fine?" And you boot me in. I was like, I'm off I go down to the lower tables because
it would be like that, Hamish, except rather than kicking me in, you stumbled on a
You just
rock
turn
and
around
grabbed
and fell in.
yourself.
Yeah.
I kind of just threw myself in there. And then we cut, lest we forget, and I think it's very important as well to give a massive honourable mention to the runner-up. Well, a lot of people forget the runner-up finals events. Tom Howell, well
Yeah.
done, get
Yeah.
into the runner-up,
My
smashing
second
result,
loss was to Tom,
and
so yeah.
again to the winner, George Roger. Dude,
Yeah.
you got into the runner-up last year, and look at this year. That's an impressive result. Massive congrats.
He's a great player, George. He's always got a really good attitude in the room at the tournaments. He's always very funny,
Loudest
having a
laugher.
laugh.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
Challenges
really nice.
Shamir.
But yeah, there's a bit in our game, Hamish, the recorded one, where you can hear Shamir going "sheesh" in the background, and we
Yeah.
both
Oh,
just start
really?
laughing.
Oh, yeah, right next to us, screaming sheesh. So he's managed to say sheesh in 2 streams at once.
But yeah, Tom Hall, fantastic player, took a really interesting Oldham. He beat my FO deck in round 11, but he can take out George's. George's was just really well built for Oldham, I think. I think that's what George was saying, is that he does quite well into Oldham, but maybe Icelander was a bit tougher. I think that's what he said, but
Yeah.
it's just he played it super well. They both did. All the top 8 did, really. It was a tough tournament. Like,
It
the
was a tough
quality of the
tournament.
UK is very high. We have one of the best scenes. Unironically, unjokingly, we do have one of the best scenes of Fab now in the UK, which is pretty cool.
We've turned those perceptions around from last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
No
it that
longer
we
a
did,
learning.
and it is a good feat for us to have this. But when we saw the ELO updates and we saw Matt Foltz being top of the table for CC, and then Jamie Faulkner being top of the tables for the ELO, I will say I was very happy to see this. But then I did have a reminder of going, the events aren't over yet, but you know, it's typical. We're like, we've won. It's like, no. The battle's still on. Oh no, but we're on the top. We've done it. It's like, okay, well, we'll see what happens when next week's up, and then the US and Polish and everyone just drags all those people down from the top and goes, no, we're now number. But it was good while it lasted.
It's still a really strong statement for the UK, and I think it says a lot about. I mean, the three of us, like, we've been doing this podcast now for 18 months. We've both been playing since you two have been playing since RK, and I've been playing since Crew, just before Crew. You know, you guys top 8'd last year's nationals. I think I was 11th, like around the same place. Like, we haven't been able to get like the exact same placings, but we're still like competing at the top levels. Like, we're still able to get money. We both, you know, me and Simon have been to the Pro Tour this year. Both Simon and Hamish go to Worlds. Like, we're still like competing really strongly in the game, considering that the three of us, like, how, you know, we do this podcast, we have a lot of life commitments that mean we can't like practice and test as much as we'd like. And it's just really good to do well at a tournament. Like, I'm really happy with my result. I was not expecting to do that well, and at the end of the day, winning $250 for playing a card game is pretty cool.
Not bad,
And
eh?
also, $250 is worth a lot more pounds than it was last week, so that's also really good. So we keep that for as long as I can.
Yeah, it's true. Although you wouldn't, sorry, Simon, I'll throw this in there. You wouldn't know. Oh, was that too mean? Was that too soon?
No, you're good. I came to the conclusion shortly after that like, although I was disappointed that I did better last year, as we said, it was a stronger field, and I probably got what I deserved in terms of, like, last year was a very different procedure for getting ready for Nats. I had time to test and I had time to play, and
you had loads more.
This year has been a lot busier, so I haven't been able to put as much time into playing the game as I would like, and I think my results were probably a reflection of that. I went 3-3 in draft because I decided to draft Dramai for the second and third times ever.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. My brain was telling me to try and be clever. If I'd have forced Fi, probably be fine.
I thought, gee, I thought you were like, I was literally looking at when you sat next to me, going, "This guy's playing Fi. Like, there's no point me trying to compete playing Fi."
Yeah,
I think I saw.
It was what it was. And I went 4-2 in CC with Briar, and I was pretty happy with that. Lost to an Icelander, lost to an Oldham, which isn't unexpected.
Who was the Oldham player?
The Oldham player was... Oh, now you're testing me. It was first round, and he was in the top 8. He was from Southampton. He was one of Sean Nolan's crew of friends. And I'm really sorry, buddy. I cannot remember your name right now.
Jacob.
Jacob. It was Jacob. Well done.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm terrible with names. I just remember reading the
it-
names out, and I'm like,
No
yeah.
joke. He was a really lovely guy. We had a good game. I managed to give myself an IP2 penalty halfway through, but the game was already
What
gone by
did
then.
you do?
He played really well. So I
Sorry.
I had played. So I was playing Briar. I'd played a Sonata the turn before, and it didn't hit. And I shuffled my deck, drew my next hand up, and on my next turn, I played a Tome of the Arknight. I revealed 2 cards, and then I shuffled my deck.
Oh,
Yeah. So I knew instantly. Jacob, bless him, hadn't realized what I'd done, and I knew instantly as soon as I put the deck down. I was like, "Oh, that's a Tome of the Arknight. That's not Sonata." So I called a judge on myself, and they gave me an IP2 penalty, and then that was that. But the game was already lost by then. I was well behind. There was no way I was bringing it back.
you're not killing me, Judge.
Yeah.
I DQ
Yeah.
you.
Myself. I'll
Fall
go
of my
on my
sword.
own terms.
Just play on my own terms.
Yeah. So thank you, Jacob. I was joking after that because I went 2-1 in the first couple of rounds of CC, and I had been joking that I was submarining for a better draft pod, and I ended up in a draft pod with Pete Ward and Francesco Giorgio.
Yeah.
God.
The strat didn't really work because
and
a lot
Aaron-
of
they,
really
were,
good
they were
players
doing the
lost
strat. They were
early.
doing the same strat as you.
and
Yeah.
Aaron Boyan and
Oh, my
a couple of other people.
days.
And then in my second draft pod, so I went 2-1 in that draft pod, and then in my second draft pod, I came up against you, Hamish, and Sharif, and Darren Hazelden, and James Brooks, and
Stilfer, right?
and
was in the
Finbar.
team.
Yeah,
What a pod for like the second pod.
Yeah, what did Matt like say? It's like the who's who, and I was like, that's flattering.
Yeah.
Okay, but
that
It's
one I
like-
went
it's
1 and
like
2.
the UK's who's who, right?
Oh,
Of content creators and push the point.
it definitely
Sharif
was all the
and,
apart from Trip, it was definitely all the content creators.
I was
hanging
too
out.
busy on the top tables, mate.
I was too
Matt
busy-
Fox
I was too busy
and,
gloating over
George
your
Roger
deck.
I think I
in
said
my
this.
pod, yeah.
I think I said this on Push the Point Live that we did on the day. Like, the judging was fantastic. The event was
Yeah.
run fantastic. It was a really good weekend, apart from the fact that it was in London.
I agree.
Whatever.
No, come on, man. London's
Great.
Just because you live in London, you're
Yeah,
fine.
Love it. I got
No,
the
London-
tube in the
London's
morning. Had a
bad
nice.
to get to.
Went to bed.
It's
Again,
so
I've
expensive.
My
been
own
reflecting on
bed.
this.
Fine.
I've been reflecting on this.
Go on then,
If we'd
Sam.
have had a calling or a big international event that was going to draw players from all over the world, London is a great place to do it,
Why?
right?
Exactly.
Because people want to come to London and they want to see London and they want to stay
No,
a few
they don't want
days.
to go to London.
So,
It's so expensive.
if it was a big international event, London, like you had New York, New Jersey, you have Paris, you have.
Would you want it in New York?
We went to a pro tour in New Jersey, dude.
Yeah, that's not New York, is it?
It's next door.
Oh, yeah,
Basically
that's,
was.
that's like
We
that's like running
literally
a-
got the bus to New York and it took 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like getting a calling in
So-
Birmingham. It's like, okay, not terrible. It's busy enough.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So for an international event, when you want to attract people, you want a big city. But for nationals, I feel like we could have done better.
Look, guys,
no, the store
it's
was
gonna-
great. By
look,
the
no,
way,
no,
Look
no,
at
no.
just everything
it's
perfect.
it's gonna happen in London at some point. There's no denying that. It has to happen at London at some point.
And they
We've
did.
got it out.
And I
We've
just-
got it out of the way now. It can be anywhere else in the country.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like,
you make a good
you know,
point.
You know, it was always going to happen that
Maybe we
the
should do it in
Nationals would be in
Nottingham.
London at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
do it in
Nottingham doesn't
Nottingham,
deserve
do it
it.
in Scotland, do it in Wales, do it anywhere.
no,
Got London
not,
out the
not
way.
not Scotland, man. That's
Us Londoners are
Edinburgh
used
would be
to
fun,
it.
actually.
The thing is,
Edinburgh
we
would be
get
nice.
paid more.
Yeah.
With, the people that often in London you get like a London weighting to your salary, so we get paid a little bit. So and we're kind of used to it being super expensive. We know all the cheap places because we've lived here.
Yeah, I know.
When you
whereas
come in
for
from out of
us-
town, you have no idea where to go to get cheap food, where the cheap bars are, where the good stuff is, because it's tourist traps everywhere. So I do
Anyway.
understand it being an issue, but it was going to happen at some point.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
happened
no.
now.
And it was a
Next
good
time
weekend.
it's going to be
Everyone had a
Kettering.
everyone had a
UK
great
Yes!
time.
Nationals Kettering.
So-
Kettering edition.
2023, baby. It's happening here. We're announcing
From
it
talking
now.
from talking
Outside
about
of
one
Wicksteed
competitive
Park.
nationals to talking about another, literally talking about another competitive nationals. Mariusz from Fab Lab came to me earlier in the week with a bit of a quandary about how to stream his nationals, and we had a bit of a chat about it. And he happened to say that the in-person commentary team that they had lined up had to pull out, and he had asked kindly if we would do the commentary as Push the Point. And I promptly turned to Trip and said, "Hey, I got this great opportunity. Would you like to cast the Polish nationals?"
Trip,
By the
you
way,
got
I
no
can't
life.
do it.
Can you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
Um,
hey, I've just agreed to cast Polish Nats, but
Yeah.
I can't do it. Hamish can't do it. But fortunately,
You can.
I was mad keen to do it, and
You were
I
mad
had a
keen.
free day anyway on Saturday, and my wife works on Saturdays anyway, so it's a great day. So yeah, I got involved.
Trip looked at his
I'm
calendar and went, "Oh, I don't see any bottomless brunches. Let's go."
genuinely, I would have cancelled it for
Oh, would you?
Polish Nats. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would have. If it had been maybe not all of the brunches. Any brunches listening, apologies, but I would have. For Polish Nats though, it's like one of the most exciting nationals events that you could cover.
It's
It's
definitely one of the
absolutely
biggest.
stacked.
It was absolutely stacked.
Stacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Reading through these
Mariusz sent us
achievements, it just blows your mind. Right?
when Mariusz sent us the file with all of the achievements of the players, it was just like
Yeah. Wow.
bing, 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 bing. Yeah, it was crazy good. So I personally had a great time casting. So I did the second draft on day 1 and the top 8 on day 2, which pales in comparison to the efforts that Trip and Sharif put in over the weekend. But it was so much fun. It was so good.
Yeah, and we got to, say like Shin, Sharif. You probably know
Friend
him
of the
if you're a
show.
regular listener.
Good friend.
He also we we were like, who else could we bring on? I really wanted to bring Shin on because I remembered his casting of, I think it was Belgian nationals last year,
Yeah.
and I thought he did a really good job. And Shin's not a content creator, so like a bit harder for like him to like reach out and get it, and like people don't know him necessarily as a creator, so might not reach out to him.
Don't
So we
forget,
thought it
he
was
also organised the European Gauntlet events back in the day. Like,
yeah,
and he
so
did that
and
with
he was a
Dante.
natural. He was so good. I really enjoyed casting with Shin. I thought we made a really good pair. Like both me and Shin started playing the game like almost
yeah,
exactly the same event.
it was the
We've been
same
playing
event. Yeah.
together for so long, so it was really good to cast with him, and he's really really good at it, and we really really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was super exciting, and some really great games. We got to witness some fantastic stuff. But yeah, did you guys manage to cast on the second day? Like, what do you like? Not talking about the games, like how did you find just casting? Like, how did you feel about it? Like to
Well,
actually just be casting at nationals.
I mean, well, I guess I'll. It was really good. I will say that your performance of being able to cast on our side, there was just as a heads up, it was quite technically difficult to really get what was going on because as I think if you go back and listen to it, the way it was set up for us, it was we imagined just seeing a scene of something, and then 8 seconds later it will then skip to another scene. So you see an E-strike come down and you go, okay, cool, he's going to do an E-strike, and then I think it's coming in for 7 and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's a load of blocks. Okay, I think he's, and then you're going with it. It was quite tricky, which then made me go, Jizo, Trip, and Shin, you are like, you did this for hours and hours. This is absolutely impressive.
Yeah, it was hard because like
It was hard. I think it was definitely the hardest thing I've had to do live.
I think because we did 4 games in a row as well.
There was no break.
The Briar Mirror semi-final was over so quickly that we also had time to do the Older Mirror semi-final back to back, and we hadn't realised this until we went to take a break, and then they were like, "Oh no, there's another game to do."
Yeah, they said we'll be back after our break shortly. We went okay, and then me and Sam went, "Oh, cool." Anyway, I'm gonna go get a glass of water, and the guy went, "The next game is up." Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on to this water, Simon, because we're going to go. It was so.
And so Sledgewatch was born.
So Sledgewatch, yeah, that was good fun. Let me just say that despite all that, it was brilliant. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I think that Shin and Trip are a very good team. I think me and Simon also did a very good job of doing it as well. I think
I think Trip and I did a good job with the second draft. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
you did
great.
you got. I
love you
think
guys.
yeah. It made me think I'd love to. It'd be really cool to get this opportunity to do it again. It's very difficult as a player that like wants to play these games, and you also get these
Yeah,
opportunities to cast these games, and you're in this weird boat of going,
yeah.
well, do I want to be the caster guy? Do I want to be but I really want to be a player at this event as well. So
Yeah.
to have this opportunity to cast something that is
That we
very
couldn't be
competitive
involved
that
in.
we
Yeah.
couldn't be involved in was perfect. So
Yeah, it was so
it was
good.
fun.
It makes me want to be like, we're involved in the like streaming for UK nationals. Would be so cool to like have
Yeah.
two of the Polish guys like commentate UK nationals next
Oh, that'd be
year, and
sick. That would be brilliant.
like like maybe they could like simulcast it or something for the
The
like Polish
over
community. That would be
the
so cool.
overriding and lasting impression and thoughts I have on the whole thing is that how fantastic a community to be involved in, that Mariusz felt he could just reach out to another content creator and be like, I don't quite know how to do this, can you help? And then this was born. Like it's just such a great community
Yeah.
to be part of, where you've got so many people you can reach out to for help, and
Yeah.
everyone's willing to give up their time and be a part of something that is special.
I would
It was the
gladly
same
do it
for
again.
Shin, yeah. Yeah,
If
yeah,
they ever have
totally.
another thing like this again, I know that they've got their own team or whatever, but if they ever need this opportunity again, let me know before I plan
Let
a
us
trip to
know.
IKEA.
Yeah. Family trip to
Yeah.
IKEA.
That's what it
We loved
was.
it.
Yeah, it was
It's
very
just so
good.
much fun. It was like, sometimes you do something and you just like so much fun. I just want to
So
do it
Bug,
again.
isn't it? Now
Yeah.
you've got the
yeah,
now
now
you
you've
got
got the
for
bug.
it. There is some more.
I just remember on the second draft of day one trip, we had like 3 games in a row that are absolute crackers. Icelander Dramai, I think we had another Icelander Dramai and a Phi Dramai in the middle, or is it Phi Icelander?
We had Phi.
But they
Can't
were
remember.
just cracking matches, and you just think they went one way, then they went another, and it was such a good advert for Uprising Draft.
Yeah.
That it made me like fall in love with it again after a poor experience at Nationals. I was just like, oh, this is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seeing an Icelander come back from a tumultai mid game was just incredible. Just like being able to deal with that and continue to control the board while losing their like Spellfire Cloak and some of their equipment in the process, and having to. It was just an incredible game, and the sort of stuff you would see in CC and be like, "That's incredible." It was all as higher quality plays as you would see in Castle Constructed, and I think seeing that in draft is fantastic.
Can we talk about? We now say like how crazy awesome it was to see Azalea in the top 8.
I think we can talk about it.
That was, mate. I said there was 3 so far. There's 3 decks that have came out of National that have probably made a lasting impact on things. It would be silly to not mention the Wounding Bull Icelander deck from
The Hamilton.
Mr. Hamilton. So, and that was cool. That was so cool. I think George's Phi deck as well was one of them where you're like, okay, cool. I know it's a Phi deck, but it's
different.
It was
Clever.
I thought it was out there in terms of like the
definitely.
Kadachi Phi. Like Kadachi Phi winning the UK Nationals. Oh, that's pretty wild, but nothing tops the Azalea deck that made top 8. It doesn't even need to win a nationals. It just goes, did this thing just make top 8? Oh my god! And everyone's lost
and
their
it wasn't
bananas.
any old. It wasn't any old Azalea deck
it
either.
wasn't any
that
old
was a
one.
special pitch stack combo deck.
So it was so cool. I even had people messaging me from New Zealand saying like,
"Is this really happening?
Is this real? Is there actually Azalea in top 8?" And I was like, "Yes." And everyone's like, "That's it. That's all we want to see. That's literally all."
And it was special because we all got to cast it together.
It was
Absolutely.
Second, I said I couldn't make it. Trip was like, "Well, I was going to go, but Azalea top 8."
I was about to pop down the shops. So the way it was like I was done. and we
Yeah.
were expecting it to restart at 1 p.m., but they decided to not have a break. I was literally about to leave the flat to go get a coffee. I saw the Discord message being like, Simon and Hamish still had stuff to do. So I was like, okay, I'll jump on. So it's like me on my own for about 15 minutes, I guess. Trying to fill air. It's really hard to cast on your own, by the way. You have to like constantly be talking to not let there be dead air. And then when Simon comes on, you must be able to hear the relief in my voice because I could
I
just
did.
stop talking for 5 minutes. Just be like, Simon, talk.
I
I
found
was
that,
Go.
like,
I found that
"Oh."
quite odd trip. I would have thought you would have like that. Like I love doing that.
Oh, I mean, it was exhilarating. It was amazing. I loved it. Like, don't
No, but like just doing it,
challenge, but
but just filling that dead air space yourself. I that's the one thing I'm like, oh, I tell you what, I can talk on my own quite well. I don't
you
mind
think,
it.
but it's like, what are you going to talk? Like, the best part of casting is being able to like
Bounce
bounce
off
off
people.
the other person. Like,
That's
say, like,
true.
Shin, what do you think about this? Or like, and also the other thing, Hamish, was that obviously, as you were saying, the stream quality that we had access to, we were basically just working on the picture on the card, right?
Yeah,
We
it's
couldn't
like
see
someone just drew a
the
picture and went, "That's
title, we
what's
couldn't see
happening."
the text. It was like you had to. It was like the biggest test of my fab knowledge that I've ever had. At
Yeah,
least when I had Shin on, I could be like, Shin, is that a read the glide path? And he's like, yeah, it is. And I was like, oh, great, yeah. It is. Like having someone
I
to
think some of
confirm
ours,
those
yeah, me and
questions
Simon were
is really
going, that looks like a deer.
Yeah.
What does the
Evergreen.
deer? Evergreen, that's it. What does the deer do again? Because
good.
I think it's the deer. It could be forced nature. Who knows?
Fortunately, most of it was Sledge.
It was.
So
Yeah,
I did quite. I actually really enjoyed Sled Watch. I think I actually had a little post-it note, and I was
that
right.
was actually the best idea. Like having that to keep us rolling
Yeah,
while we were
no
watching
offense.
an older mirror.
Older mirrors are boring at the best of times. It's literally you're literally going right. How do we kill 40 minutes blocking?
Sledge.
And then we're like, oh, they're on the single health. Okay, the game begins.
Yeah.
Like, will he get that one damage through? But yeah, no, I
It's
thoroughly
so
enjoyed
good.
it.
Like,
Thoroughly enjoyed
it's
it.
so good. Like casting it's a real test of your own like knowledge as a player. Like there was some great moments in the first two games with me and Shin where we would lose the player feed, but we'd still be able to see the life totals. So we were like able to
Oh, I
cast
saw
based
this.
on the changes
Oh
of the
my
life
God.
totals. And I was saying, and Shin said to me afterwards, he was like, that was one of my proudest like fab moments, knowing
I did a
exactly what
game
was
of Flesh
going
and
on in that
Blood
game
based
based
on
on
life
just the
total.
changes in
Close your
life. It was
eyes and
so
cast,
good.
boys.
Yeah, and
Wow,
people
that's
were saying
impressive.
it's like the Talk Sport. I think I said it's like Talk Sport for
Fab.
fab.
I
He's done some
think, to be
damage, it's
fair,
clearly this.
Mariusz was saying that with the issues in the car, like the internet
Oh,
connection,
yeah.
it became a bit of a podcast of what was going on,
And
which
fair
is
play to
absolutely
that
fine.
guy. He was playing in the tournament at
Yeah,
the same time. He was
and
dealing with
providing tech
terrible
support.
internet that he couldn't work with, and still managed to put on a really good stream. And like full credit to him. Like
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
it
massive.
was impressive, and you know it
Massive.
can only improve for
And
next year.
having seen the games
love to
that we
come back.
were a part of casting, like there was no way that event couldn't be streamed. Like people
Oh,
have to see those games.
yeah,
No one would
absolutely.
believe that Azalea made top 8 if
Yeah.
there wasn't
No one
video
believed me.
evidence.
Yeah.
And what that game, I mean, I know we touched on, we didn't quite talk about the finish, just the fact that this Azalea player managed to pitch stack this almost infinite combo of damage, and they were literally one block away. Like if the Olden player had
Well, it was the
access to
Terra
one
Sandra that
less
was the
block,
problem.
it
Well,
was the
so
Terra
Terra,
Sandra, yeah.
that did mess things up the turn before. Yeah.
So close. We won't talk about the game, but go and watch it on Fab Lab. Find the stream of the second day. Check out that top 8 game with the Azalea and send some love over to Fab Lab. Give them a subscribe and watch that game and give it a like and watch it for yourselves, because there's no way that you'll see the excitement in our voices as we realize what's about to happen. And it is a special game. You really need to watch it for yourself.
It was very good. So, final points of the evening.
Any final points you want to push before we
I would just like
Yeah.
to say a big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to our YouTube channel in the last
Yeah,
couple of
gee.
weeks.
It's gone
Like
crazy.
Hamish has been absolutely
Not just
on
me
one.
this time. Not just me.
I
Um,
did some this time
Trip,
too.
And Trip.
Trip,
Not me.
Trip,
I'm
no,
rubbish.
Simon.
Mostly
Come on, no,
Hamish. Mostly Hamish.
no,
But
look,
yeah,
it's
I
not.
was there for
It's
one.
not. This is not. This is not a me thing. This is definitely.
It's a team.
It's
We do
definitely
all
a
this
big
as a
team
team.
thing. Simon, you've organised a Polish nationals commentary, like
Yeah,
literally
you got
casting.
us
That's
that gig.
huge.
Yeah.
Trip has joined in with the we've done a Shamir and a Rogers, and
Roger.
yeah, just I was just wrapping up some of the that I lined up. Anyway, we should hopefully, fingers crossed, have some more very exciting interviews coming up.
in the coming weeks. But what it means, Hamish, is we're now at 897 subs.
We're almost at
On YouTube.
1,000, boys.
Do you guys remember when we were trying to get? I think it was 169 subs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, do you remember that? I said 169. You get a giveaway.
I think we did a giveaway, and then it was like that. I think it was 169. So
was-
if you're one of those OG 169, thank you very much. But it's really all the people that have subscribed recently. Thank you so much. We are on the road to 1,000 subs. It would, it doesn't really mean anything, but it's always nice to be able to
Means
say
something
you've got
to
1,000
us.
subs. It will
Yeah.
mean something to us. Just the fact that we've had so much support, and the fact that you guys are subbing and liking and watching the stuff. And I'm sure LSS is looking at that, and I'm sure that it's contributed to us getting in a small way, contributed to getting us a
Yeah.
spoiler. I think the quality of our here's the toot our own home part of the podcast, but the quality of our content I do think is very high, and I think that's helped us get this spoiler. So
Don't make us up too much.
yeah,
And then
watch it. and
thank
see
you
what
to our
think.
Patreons as
Oh, the
well, who
patrons,
are
man. Big
able.
shout.
So I know we can't reveal it yet, but the Patreons have been contributing to something very, very special.
I said this
And
last time. We're on the road of trying to
Almost
get
there.
this stuff done.
it's a bit of a tease, but
We're trying to get this done ready for World.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's
We
all I'm
are-
gonna say. And
we're trying to pull out all the stops to get this ready for Worlds. And if it comes off, we will be very happy bunnies.
it's. I'm still waiting. I felt like we were meant to get the.
It's really
final-
special, guys.
the
Like
final
finale.
we all three of us are so happy
Trigger's
with
like,
how
shut
it
up, bro. I'm gonna
that
step
turned
in
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
No, should we leave it there?
But you should be excited. Let's leave it there. It's been a great one. We've
we
done a
didn't
lot
even
in the
go that
last few
long.
days. We're
What's
looking
that?
forward to having maybe a day off. I think we've been doing stuff now for the last 5 days or something
Days
crazy.
off. No,
It's been a couple of weeks for Push the Point, but thank you for all the stuff, all the support that we've been given, and the nice compliments about our stream as well. We didn't even
Oh.
touch on that, but some people that have been tweeting support. Huge thank you. It means a lot to us to get that support. So thank you very much.
cool.
Thanks, everyone.
Right.
Cool. Push the
The point.
point.
Oh,
Love you lots.
almost. Why did you do that? Bye.
Bye.
Bye.